Okay. Is the ordinance constitutional? I see this little short sentence, so I'm going to read it. The ordinance affects women disproportionately to men because female child care workers far outnumber male child care workers in this city. Is the ordinance constitutional? A, no, because it has a desperate impact on women without a showing that the ordinance is necessary to serve a compelling government interest. Discrimination against gender is intermediate scrutiny. So I'm going to say no to this because it says necessary, and that is strict scrutiny. B, no.
Somebody doing homework. Go ahead.
No, because it infringes on the freedom of contract without a compelling government interest. I'm going to say no to that as well because it's compelling and it's talking about contract. C, yes, because any burden it imposes is clearly outweighed by an important government interest. I like important. That's intermediate scrutiny. D, yes, because it is rationally related to a legitimate government objective. And that's rational scrutiny. So I'm going to strike that. So I'm going to leave C and read the facts. City passed an ordinance requiring individuals to obtain a license in order to care for children under the age of 12 for pay. City officials who promoted the ordinance said that the licensing process would ensure the child care workers were adequately regulated for the health and safety of the city's children. To receive a license, the ordinance requires an individual to complete 10 hours of instruction in child care, undergo a background check, and pay a $100 fee. The ordinance affects women disproportionately to men because female child workers far outnumber male child care workers in the city. Well, it's not directed towards female or male discrimination. It affects disproportionately, so it's okay. So I like C. I'm gonna circle, and yeah.
What about B?
I don't like B. No, because it infringes on the freedom of contract without a compelling interest. Well, compelling is a strict scrutiny language, and this freedom of contract has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
There's something about C I don't like. Because any burden imposed is clearly outweighed. What is clearly outweighed?
Well, to me, they clearly outweighed the burden of having them get a license is for the protection of the children.
But for me, the clearly outweighed is like evidence.
Oh.
Right? You weighed it. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the problem with C.
So do you think it's a rational basis? Because it's not, oh yeah, maybe it is rational basis because it's not even.
It is gender.
Right, it's not, it doesn't affect gender, so yeah.
So therefore
it's D, it's rational. Because they're not discriminating against gender. It just affects women differently because there's more of them. But
anybody else want to pick another one beside C or D?
Let me read. See, or such a license, ensure that child care workers were adequately regulated for the house.
So it appears to be discriminatory on its face, but it's not.
Right, it's not, right? That's what. So is the ordinance constitutional? Everybody go to C and D, right? So it say yes because it's not discriminatory, right?
Yeah. But it's not discriminatory on its face. It's just the effect that it has. It's discriminatory in a way because there's more women than men, but the statute itself does not say like it's requiring because of the women or anything.
Would ensure child care workers. So this is the group that it's targeting, childcare workers.
Right.
This just happens to be a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's why it appears to be discriminatory on its face.
Because
so everybody believe for C or D?
A.
D.
Everybody believe D?
Yeah.
Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da.
Yay. You did a
correct.
good job, Bianca.
D, correct. The desperate impact on a law on women without more.
Parrot.
Desperate impact of a law on women without more does not constitute sex discrimination and thus is insufficient by itself to trigger heightened judicial scrutiny of the law's constitutionality. In order for the ordinance to be considered discriminatory against women, a court must find that the city adopted the ordinance because it would have a desperate impact on women, and there are no facts here upon which to base such a finding.
Everybody was right. Everybody was right about that. And also that you see how they trick you about man and woman.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to go toward gender. And they want to go toward the middle. Gender is middle, right? The middle is gender. Okay. So the middle is important government interest. The middle is important government interest. Compelling is strict. So, and I like that you guys saw it. So you guys went down to C and D. So it was rational. Rational. Now, I don't like C because it's clearly outweighed. I don't think that is constitutional law word.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more evidence. Did you see that, Courtney, when it say clearly outweighed?
Not initially, but then when you pointed it out, I was like, oh, that's evidence. That's not con law.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions?
I gotta find my sign, David. I lost it in the move.
Oh, good. You lost it in the move. I don't think Eva know what is going on. I don't know.